Hey, listen, if you in your car, if you with your family, if you in the backyard having a cookout, I need you to turn this all the way up, cause it's about to go live. Woo! This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and they sure can't take it away. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and they sure can't take it away. You see the vibes, I know you see the light and how it shines. I'm a child of God, why you look surprised? I'm super fly, I won't apologize, cause I walk in favor, I got flavor. Salt of the earth, I can't lose my savor. Jesus Christ, yeah, that's my savior. Eyes on the cross, I don't see no hate. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Yeah, yeah, I once was lost, but now I'm fine. I won't go. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, I didn't give it to me. Sure can't take it away, sure can't take it away. No, no. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, I didn't give it to me. Sure can't take it away, sure can't take it away. No, no. I faced a lot of things in my lifetime, but God stepped in at the right time. Picked me up when I was down. Nothing can stop me now. Never see the righteous forsaken. Everything that I suffered has taught me patience. All my help, it comes from you. You're the only one that pulled me through. So refreshed, I've been renewed. Feel like I just can't lose. Joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and they sure can't take it away. This joy that I have, yeah, yeah, the world didn't give it to me, I didn't give it to me. Sure can't take it away, sure can't take it away. No, no. This what I need y'all to do for me. I need you to forget about your problems, grab your loved one by the hand, and take them to the dance floor, cause it's about to go down. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and they sure can't take it away. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and they sure can't take it away. This joy, woo, this joy, this joy, this joy, this joy.
I don't know about you, but I had an incredible weekend. I hope you did as well, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But this is episode 143 of the Motivation Moments podcast. My name is Gregory Bloomfield, and I thank you so much for tuning in to, one day I'll say, the number one podcast for Christian lifestyle in the world. But right now, we're growing every day, and I'm so thankful for it. Like, share, and subscribe. YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. I need to ask of you something, please. We were talking about this earlier. A lot of people love to watch your podcast on YouTube or Facebook or whatever channel it's on or whatever medium it's on, but they never subscribe or follow. Please follow, subscribe, get involved, communicate, engage. We really want to see the interaction in each one of these broadcasts. So if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. We want to grow the channel. We're at 210 subscribers. We want to get to 300 before the end of season 9. And also, we're almost at 300 on Facebook. So tune in and follow the Motivation Moments with Gregory Bloomfield Facebook page. And thank you on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Bloomfield Ting. That is my handle. Listen, I'll tell you why I have this joy and not most importantly, because Jesus is alive. Good evening, my love. I'll tell you about what's going on today. But we had an amazing weekend, my family, and one of the reasons why is because my son, Thaddeus, graduated high school. So we want to say congratulations to Thaddeus, graduated from Oliver Ames High School. You can see I'm a proud dad. I think he's proud of me. Our family is so happy of the accomplishment, and he's going from high school to university. He got accepted into the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth campus. He'll be studying civil engineering, and he will be playing football for the University of Dartmouth. So I'm so excited. God bless you. I'm so proud of my son and my daughter. I'm proud of my son for what he's accomplished, and we pray that God continues to bless him. And shout out to all of his classmates. Shout out to the OA family. Shout out to his boys, Harold and Milan, and all the other people that are his friends. Shout out to the class of 2025. And shout out to your child, son or daughter, if they have graduated high school or college or master's program or doctorate program, GED, ESL, I don't care. If you took the courses, took the exam, and you passed with honors, or if you just passed, you just barely got through, I'm proud of you. So congratulations. Also, yesterday, on the same day of the graduation, is my 1-year anniversary of being married to a wonderful lady. You just saw her comment there, Gregory Bloomfield. So we've been married 1 whole year. It seems like a lot longer. But shout out to Zenja. We hung out this weekend. We got back for the podcast. So I just want to say thank you. I love you, and thank you for all that you do to support this ministry. Our ministry is growing. And if you want to continue supporting us, you can continue supporting us by purchasing our books, 522 Man, and also Rooted in Boldness. You can get those on sisterpamelapublishing.com. We also have merch that you can order. And I also want to announce the fact that we're working on new books for this year. So keep tuned in on this podcast. We'll pull up the flyer for the merch, and you can order a t-shirt or a hoodie or a mug, and you can, the website's at the bottom at Sister Pamela Publishing. All this stuff helps us with putting this podcast together. Some people think it's just free, just press a button and it goes on. No, there's costs involved with production and all those types of things. So these things help defray the cost. And if you've been blessed by what we've been doing, and you can see that this is not a fly-by-night situation, we're in episode number 143, and we're not stopping anytime soon, in Jesus' name. So thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, our theme for the month of June is the joys and pains of manhood. So we're going to have a whole bunch of guests this month to talk about that topic in different areas. If you missed the episodes from last week where I did a teaching on the joy and the pain of manhood, feel free to go back to episode 141 and episode 142, and you can get my biblical teaching on the joys and pains of manhood. You will be blessed. A lot of people enjoyed it, and I know you will too. Tonight, we have somebody who I consider a veteran to this podcast space, somebody who I've shared stages with. We know the same people, but we've never been on a stage like this one-on-one. And his name goes by the name Tailor-Made Speaks. Now, he is an author, a counselor, and he is a motivational speaker, and he has 2 podcasts himself. He's the host of the Toxic Relationships podcast and the podcast called God is Not Complicated. He's a Christian. He loves the Lord, and his motto is to build resilience in people's lives and get toxicity out of their life. How many here, put your hand up or put a 1 in the chat if you know someone who's got toxicity in their life? Well, if you are that person who has that, then you've come to the right place. Tonight, he's also an author of 4 books. One of his greatest titles is this one that's going to come up on the screen. Why Do I Attract Toxic Women? Woo, I feel a Kevin Samuels vibe coming on there. But listen, that's our topic for today. Why do we attract toxic women? And the joys and pains of manhood, particularly when it comes to dating and relationships. You hear a lot of it from women's perspectives, but tonight we're going to talk about it from a man's perspective. So without further ado, allow for me to introduce to you my buddy, someone that I've known, that we've laughed on the same stage, and it's going to be a little bit different than previous episodes. We're going to get a little bit real and maybe a little toxic. So I want to introduce to the stage, first time on the podcast, Mr. Taylor Made Speaks.
Oh,
you ready, boy?
I am ready.
Woo, this is going to be good. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. You know, I just found out a few minutes ago that you're a jam can just like me. You know what that means?
Absolutely.
Fire. That's why you're wearing red.
Yes. It's fire tonight. It's fire.
Gonna be no fire. Yes, sir. Wave up on a lighter. Anyway, but so how are things? You're in, I can say you're in Toronto, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Shout out to Toronto. We have another Canadian resident in the house as well.
Absolutely.
So listen.
Yes, sir.
I want to put the book up again. I'm going to put the title and the cover of the book, and I want to ask you the question straight up.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write this book?
I think it's so important. But before I answer that question, I just want to give another shout out to you for raising such an amazing family. You have an amazing son. And I just want to say congratulations on a big step to your future journey, and also to your wife, because she is still allowing you to share you with us during your anniversary. So I want to say a great appreciation to her for allowing you, and for her helping you to your purpose.
Oh, shout out. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I appreciate that totally. Making me choked up. So how first of all, even before we get into the book, let's talk about you. I love you too, honey. Who is Taylor Made?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with something different. I love to shake things up. So
I know that's right.
I love to shake things up. So let me start by saying this. First of all, I'm a human being. You know, sometimes, you know, we have all these accolades and we kind of figure that this person is like a superhero, or this person is like, he doesn't have any feelings, or she doesn't have any feelings, and she must go. But I'm a human being. For those that are in the faith, I am a sinner. Yes, I am. I'm making it, and I'm pushing forward every single day. So I just wanted to get that out the way, right? And so now, for those that are maybe are scholars, right? I am a motivational speaker. I'm a podcast host of 2. I'm an author of 4 books. I want to make sure that I touch people's life with Jesus, so they are aware that we do have a creator and we do have a savior that saves souls. That is my ultimate goal. That wasn't my goal a few years ago, but now I'm living for the creator. And so I go around and help people change their lives. I enable them. I lift them up. I encourage them. I motivate them to be their best version.
I love it. And that's why we're so aligned. because that's exactly you're a sinner. I'm the chief of sinners. So
We're not.
exactly. It just so you were the author of 4 books. You wrote this book called "Why Do I Attract Toxic Women?" Now, tell me what inspired you to write this book, and let's talk about dating, the joys and pains of men trying to find the right woman in their life.
No, absolutely. I what inspired me to write this book is because you've always seen the social media, and majority of the time men are not prone to be vocal. Right. And I think it's very important to understand that, women attract toxic men and men attract toxic women. But what is the root cause of that? Right. And so I wanted to share my experience, especially as a Black man, vocally saying these are the things that I've experienced, and these are the things that I have added to, because it's not a one-way fold. It's a two-way fold, and some of our upbringings plays a part in that. Some of the things that we see, right? Some of the things that we hear from social media that kind of steer us into certain directions. And so I thought it was very important to get this book out and to talk about the different toxic women that I have attracted in my life, and how did I navigate to escape. Sometimes you're trapped, right? And so how did I escape some of these situations? And so that's the reason why I wrote this book, to see if it can shed some light and to be a help to others.
So you talk about toxic women, and this 2/3 of my audience are women. So I gotta take my glasses off for this one. So it's like you're using the word toxic, and it can be very triggering to some women who are not strong enough to hear the word. What do you mean I'm toxic? Oh man, and it becomes a battle of the sexes, right?
Yeah.
How would you define, or how does the book describe what a toxic woman is?
Right. So few things that you can point out. First of all, there's a twofold to this, right? You're talking about physical things that can describe toxicity, and then there's the supernatural things, right, that can describe toxicity. So it depends on what angle you're coming from. Number one, sometimes it's manipulation, right? Sometimes you're in a situation where you get manipulated. And some of you have experienced it from both sides, right? From man and women. Sometimes it is a mixture of disrespect. You can really see if somebody respect you or disrespect you, like going to a restaurant. Like, these are some of the things, right? Going to a restaurant, how does she treat the waiter? Right? If she's a single mother, maybe, how does she treat her kids? How does she treat her mother and her father if they're still living? Right? So there's certain ways that you can detect if a woman is toxic. And not only that, how does she deal with conflict? Because, a lot of times you see a lot of arguments in relationship. And like I said, it's from both ends. But when we're talking from a male perspective, is she an argumentative person? And how does she deal with conflict? Do she sit down and say, hey, look, I'm willing to talk and work things out? Or it's just a wall that is being put forth in front of you, and it's just a one-sided conversation. So these are some of the things that I touch on in the book as far as being toxic.
So, okay, and those are common things. So let's unpack this a little bit further. From 3 to 1. We're gonna go backwards. So we're talking about someone who's argumentative. The Bible teaches us that it's better to be on a rooftop than to be with a cantankerous woman.
Yeah.
So, and what are some of I want to be a little granular.
Yep.
So, for the men that are watching or will be watching, and they're dating a woman and they see some of the signs, Can you give an example maybe of someone who was cantankerous? Because sometimes what ends up happening is that men that may be insecure, that can't handle disagreement, they mistake the sign of a woman, standing up for herself to being toxic. I'll give an example. If a woman raises her voice back to a man, it does not necessarily mean that they're cantankerous. It may mean that they're standing up for themselves, and everything is situational. How would one be able to clearly, unequivocally identify someone who's cantankerous or disrespectful? Because sometimes it can be misconstrued based on the psyche of the man. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I think it's growth. And the reason why I say it's growth is because, like I said, social media, TV shows us one aspect, and then maybe what you saw in the household, right? Your mom is engaging with your father, right? I don't think that a lot of times you see both sides and the fullness of that conversation. Some parents hide it from their kids, right? Some people would say in their household they never saw their mother and father argue, right? But if you go through the mother and father's life, they've had disagreements. Clearly, arguments. They just didn't do it in front of the child. So there's no teaching in the household on how to decipher what is an argument or what is just a woman, let's just say, standing up for herself or setting those boundaries, right? And so what do we tend to lean to? Society, social media, Baby Boy. Remember that movie? Some of us.
Jody. Yeah.
And so we tend to lean to social media, and social media is teaching us, right? But I think over the years, for myself and for yourself, that we have learned that let's dissect this situation. It might be heated at the moment. Right? I'm not listening to you. You're not listening to me. Let's take a step back and come back to the conversation. But the thing is, it takes time to get there, right? Unless you're going to a therapist or unless you're going to a counselor right away, you're not going to know how to do those things, right? And so for me, when I was younger, was I hot-headed? Absolutely.
Me too.
Right? If you disagree with me, I thought you were being disrespectful.
That's the point I'm getting at. Is that some people disagreeing is not necessarily disrespect. Now, I will say this as well, Taylor, is that you can disagree with someone and be disrespectful. Like the one thing that I will never, because I've been in relationships where they were everything that you described in terms of toxic, like unforgiving, always, the microaggressions, the small, like talking about, I'll give a real life example. Whenever we would go out, this individual that I used to be with, anytime that we would go out, she always found a way to belittle me amongst my friends or amongst my own family. Like they would find a way to and she would pass it off like sarcasm. But I believe, tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I believe sarcasm is the precursor to verbal and physical abuse. Be careful of people who are always sarcastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And they always mask it with a joke.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
no, it's
joking. Or can't you take a joke? Oh, you're too serious. Right. That's another thing that people tend to say. You're too serious. But it's mask. Right. And to be honest with you, sometimes, and see, this is where it gets very dangerous, is when the person say, well, this is just who I am. And and if you can't accept me for who I am, here we go. Here's the red flag. If you can't accept me for who I am, then I guess we don't need to be together.
And another red flag, I love what you just said. Another red flag is this, is that, listen, I'm just trying to keep it real.
Yeah.
But
so
you're rude.
No, absolutely.
You know?
Here's the thing, right? And this is, man, you know, this is so powerful. At your job, do you keep it real with your boss?
I could, but then, you know, I'd be collecting unemployment.
Absolutely. But we come home and keep it real with the one that we vow to love and to cherish, or to be there through thick and thin, or the person maybe I'm dating and I swear to have your back, and this person gave me butterflies and I'm in love and all this stuff. But we just tend to just take everything out. We don't care anymore. This is who I am. And I try to tell people, just because that's who you are doesn't make it right.
That's exactly correct.
Who you are is horrible. And it's a time to change who you are, right? Because, go ahead.
No, finish your thought, because this is good. Something just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So just because this is who you are, that doesn't mean it is the right path and the right way to be. And so at your job, because I'm in the management field, when you have goals and, maybe you're off track, right? You go to your manager and say, hey, what can I do to get back on track? Right? Well, you do this, that. But when you're in a relationship and you're off track and the next person is telling you, hey, you're off track, maybe, something that you used to do, you're not doing it no more. You don't say, you know what, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to work on it. And then I'm going to get back on track. No, it's just completely, you're the problem, the cursing, the arguing, you don't get me. Like you said, you're not accepting who I am, and you must just take what I dish out.
And let me say this to the brothers who are listening or what will be listening. You don't have to put up with it. And also, ladies, can I be toxic now? One of the reasons why some women always say, I can't find a good man, is a lot of it is because of your mouth. No, I'll say, hey, it's my show, I'll say it. And at the end of the day, and I may lose some people, but I'll get more. The point is that a lot of times I hear ladies a lot of times talk about, I want my man to do this, my man, well, a whole list of demands for what a man needs to do. You can't take me to Cheesecake Factory. I need to go to a nice restaurant you can't even pronounce. I want the lobster biscuit, and I want the escargots, and all this type of stuff. And they try to act sophisticated and sedity. They could never, I need a man to pay my bill. So what was he doing before you? Right? And I'll also say this, social media will keep you single.
Absolutely.
Let's stay there, because we both Clubhouse veterans.
Yeah.
And we've been to many of those rooms during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about how do you feel that social media allows for women to be toxic and men to force them to be like Jesus with a good credit score and cash?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tell you why.
Why?
If for me,
Mm-hmm.
if I had the physique, the muscles, the good looking, the eyes, the hair, everything that a woman physically desire, I can be toxic and I can have a huge following. It doesn't matter. Just like women could show a little cleavage, her legs, her butt, and she can be toxic and she's going to get the following. That is just how it is. Social media is a whole different beast when it comes to everything. And so, yes, do women get away with being toxic? Absolutely. 100%. All she has to do is look a certain way that the social media rhythm is looking for, and she will go viral, and she could say anything that comes out of her mouth and people will praise it. And then guess what? For some reason, that viralness and that trend goes, and then men would be like, you know what? Oh, she's real. She's real. I like that. I like that sassiness. They get drawn to that, not knowing that that is not what a woman is made up to be. Completely not. Completely. And yes, when it comes to a man now, what you said, do we have to be? Yeah, we have to check all the boxes. We got to dress. We got to have the shoes, the car, the credit score, because that's the first conversation. What's your credit look like? What job do you have? Are you an owner of a company? Because if you're not an entrepreneur and have a company or a CEO or something, they're looking for 3-letter words, right? Where can you take me? Is a first date. Or I have had a friend that she said that she need her nails, her hair, and an outfit to go out on a date with him. Right. And so it has become this supernatural, or not supernatural, superficial kind of market now, where you have celebrities. That's this whole thing that's showing cars, showing chain. People, I'm going to say this, but I'm not going to call on name. People on social media crying, saying they're not getting paid money, right, for doing films. But then the next post that they do, they got jewelry on with gold in their mouth. I thought you were just broke, right? So social media has taken it to a whole nother level. And so driving how people see their future.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because our younger generations, they see that and they think that's real. Forget younger generations. I'll even say people in their 30s. And so because I remember before I met my wife, I was talking to somebody and she told me straight up, like, look, if you want to be with me, and she gave me an itemized list of her maintenance. Hair, every 6 weeks, this is how much I spend. Nails and mani-pedi, and I only do white toes. Only do white. X amount. Waxing. X amount. And I'm like, we're not even in a relationship, and you telling me all of this? And I said, you understand I got 2 kids, right? That I need to support. It's called child support. Well, you're going to have girlfriend support. The devil is a hotline from hell. That when you lead with that, that's toxic. So, and go ahead.
So I was going to say, it's so funny.
Shout out to Pastor Chris. Yes, itemized list. It was like a tax return. Like nails, toes, hair, wax. Listen, why are you telling me all up for? We haven't even gone out. We're just talking.
So it's really a great conversation. I mean, I love talking about conversations like this because, when you have those itemized lists, everybody have their so-called lists or the desires of what they want, right? But it's just very puzzling to me that, somebody would have a list of an upkeep of themselves. Like you're responsible for the upkeep of their self.
What were you doing before me?
Well, the other guy, the next dude was doing the upkeep. And see, here's the thing. Then you have it where the average person in America is just making it. They're just making it by
income $45,000 a year in the United States. Yeah.
So here's the thing: who is maintaining that list more than one man? So taking me out to dinner, he's good for that. Paying my car note, he's good for that. Paying my child's daycare, he's good for that. My upkeep, he's good for that. So by the time you know it, this woman is entangled with 5 different men that plays a part for her lifestyle.
And none of them dudes want her, and she end up single and end up cat lady. Yes, sir.
That's a whole nother conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now you're entangled with 5 different guys, and then when the guy that you're supposed to be with come along, you're already entangled with 5 different dudes, and maybe one of the dude you have a child by. Like, this whole thing is a disaster, right?
And we're not. And when we're saying this, I want to be clear with the audience. We're not shaming women.
No,
we're just saying this. Hey, Rosalind, how are you? What
Absolutely.
we're doing is we're identifying for men the type of women to avoid. There are good women out there that will not be like this.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
And I
And
had to go through a couple of bad ones to recognize and know what I wanted in order to pick well. My picker wasn't good. Yeah, I assume your picker wasn't good at some points too.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is that, you know, I'm a fast runner, so, you know, as soon as I'm telling you, I've dodged some big bullets.
Me too.
You, Jesus, because
hallelujah,
it could have gotten really, really bad, right? And so, it's. Oh my God. I'm just having some flashbacks, but I'm glad that I did dodge those bullets and I moved quickly. And know some people always say, you know, how are you able to kind of disconnect? Because I'm real good at just turning it off and disconnecting, right? And when I see something that it's just not aligned, I'm able to just shut it down. And I'm glad that I don't know if it's a gift. I don't know if it's just something that's inside of me, but I'm really able to do that. And, you know, sometimes we have these attachments, whether it's sexual attachments or whether it's maybe, you know, emotional attachments, but I'm just able to just kind of shut that down and just say, I'm out.
And you know, the funny thing is too, Taylor, is that no, we're going to take it there tonight.
Sure.
You want to know why I think a lot of men stay with toxic women? And I just we're grown. Yep. The sun's down. It's because the sex is fire.
See, I know.
So put a 1 in the chat, somebody. You know, and I'm not going to do that. we put it. No, but sincerely, one of the reasons why is they feel it's a soul tie. You have an intimacy with people that you know can't do nothing for you, aren't going to build you up, aren't a part of your mission.
Yeah.
But it's like Samson, fetch her for me, because she pleaseth me. And then you end up losing all your strength because you suffered to be with a Delilah.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel a sermon. But and we've all done it. I've done it. Where it's like I was with the wrong woman.
Wrong person. 100%.
I'm going late to work. My money messed up. I'm yelling at my kids. I'm being all kind of toxic myself. So how Taylor, with this book, why did I get with a toxic woman? Oh, let me read what Alonda said. You have so many soul ties and bad ties when the real tie comes along. You're so confused that you can't. Yes.
Absolutely. 100%.
And men pick the wrong. It is so important, Taylor, for us as men. 2 most important things in our lives. Number 1 is giving your life to God in a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's the most important thing you could do. And the second most important thing is who you pick as a spouse.
True.
Oh my God.
So, and that's and I'm glad that you brought that up, because one thing that I have realized in my life today, that you must pick the woman that is going to assist you on your purpose.
Yes.
You know, the thing is that, you know, the Bible talks about your helpmate, right? God gave Adam a helpmate. And I always hear on Clubhouse that I am a traditional man and you don't have to do anything and I'll take care of you and I'll do all this stuff, right? So my thing is this. Okay, so if she doesn't do anything,
I'll get bored.
is she so she's not, this is the thing, she's not the helpmate anymore. She's just the meat. That's it. He's not. No, because what is she doing? Nothing. Because
all you're doing is mating.
All you're doing is mating. So here's the thing. So as the man, how is she contributed to him? How is she playing a part in the relationship?
Yeah.
If he's doing it all. So what is her purpose? And God has placed, and I want everybody to listen to really hear me out, because I know I'm going to get some stuff in the my message. I am not saying that a woman can't not have her own purpose, her own desires, and go after her own dreams. But God made it so that the woman joins the man to help the man to go after his purpose and his dreams and for the family. Right. And so that's why, the man will take the brunt of any danger that's coming into the family. He takes the hit. Right. He goes out there and be the provider. I'm not saying that women can't be the provider also. Right. But she's there to help the guy. Every successful man that you have seen. Right. Except for Elon Musk.
Don't even mention that.
Every successful man, you've seen that woman behind the scenes. Whenever you talk about Jeff Bezos, you're talking about Apple, all those successful men, you've seen the woman behind the scenes, right? God has designed for the woman to help the man to propel him to the next level, right? And so now what we have seen in society is that a woman don't need a man anymore. I don't need a man. And the men now is saying, I don't need just one woman. I need about 10 women.
And they can barely afford half of one.
100%. So yeah, for that person that just commented a little while ago saying that, yeah, we're confused. We're confused. The information that's coming to us, God is completely out the picture now. And now there's confusion. And so with this book that I decided to write is showing, yes, men, there is things that's from our past, that's in our society, that contributes to us attracting these toxic women, right? And not only that, and here are some of the signs that's in these women that you need to be careful of, right? My desire is to have everyone meet the person that they are supposed to meet. Yes. Right? Like you said, there are amazing women out there. Yeah. I know that for a fact. There's beautiful women, there's smart women, there's courageous women, there are CEOs, there's women that's Fortune 500 owner of companies. There's women that can take a man from nothing and make him into something. Right? There's a woman that can be a great mother and a great a family person to hold the household together. Absolutely. And I want those men to match with those women. And for the ones that are toxic, you can't leave them out too. I want them to go and do a deep dive in themselves and get help. Why am I this way? Why do I treat men the way do I treat them? Why do I use them the way do I use them? Is it just self-gratification and greed that is all about me and I just want more and more and more? Maybe I don't want to work. Maybe I want to live the luxurious life that social media has displayed for the rest of my life. So maybe I'll just choose 5 men to live that lifestyle. Or maybe I'll just have a child by 5 different guys and spread it out through my lifetime so I don't have to work and I could live off the government and I could collect child support. I know I said a lot.
Yeah, you said a lot. But it's good. We're here with Taylor Made Speaks. Shout out to him. We're going to continue this conversation. If you're enjoying this, please like, share, subscribe, follow the channels as we had mentioned, and comment. We have a question here. I want to go back to Pastor Chris's comment, and then we'll read Alana's question. Surely do hope some 20-something brothers are listening. Surely, I'm assuming, do hope that 20-something brothers are listening with intention of learning. I should have had this conversation many moons ago, would have saved money, emotions, and mostly important time. Amen. I want to put a pin in this because that's one of the questions I have for you. But I want to also address Alonda's point. How does that man break away from that good?
Well, that's a good question.
From the good that was bad, so he can heal to be ready for the woman of God he has from. Yes. How do you a man break away from that nookie so that he can? And this is I'm serious. Is that because if I'm going to be really transparent, in my life, I've had to do that, where a woman that I actually ended up marrying was someone that when I look back from a sober perspective, because how many here know that you can be sex drunk too, is that when you look back over your life and you see the signs, I should have never have been with that person, right? So how would we address that? How does a man get free from that sexual soul tie from that toxic woman?
So I'm glad that you say that because there's only two ways. Number one,
run, Forrest, run.
It's self-control. That's number one. But how do you add that to that self-control? God.
Amen.
That's it. Because here's the thing, when it comes to sex, even in the Bible, great powerful men fell because of what? Because of a woman, the sex.
David,
Samson. I mean, you could run down the list. They fell. And I'm not saying because women are bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they wasn't supposed to be doing certain things with these women, but they disobeyed and they did it because of self-will. They didn't have the control. Mm-hmm. So if they couldn't do it back then, and they had some amazing gifts, then little old me with the little gift that I have. Little gift. How do I have the self-control? First of all, like I said, you have to want to stop, because remember, God can give you all the power in the world, but if you don't want to stop and be obedient, then all the power in the world ain't going to amount to anything, right? Remember, it's free will. This is how God works, free will. So God, I want to change and I need to stop. Now, what are some of the measures? Because remember, he always leave a room for escape. So now I got to make sure that I cut this off. How do I cut this off? Okay. First of all, you don't need to be going over her house.
Praise God.
One, she don't need
nighttime or daytime. No time.
Now you might say, but the sex is good. Listen, I know. I've been there. I want to explain something. I want to be very transparent. Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
When I was younger, maybe in my in my late 20s, I didn't want to be alone. So I had a lot of female friends that I was cool with, that I would just at night, when it gets close to nighttime, we'll just go over their house.
Have mercy.
And spend the night.
Bible study, right?
And spend the night. Now, some of them, I never had any intercourse with. I'll sleep on their couch. I remember I'll sleep on the couch, but I'll just keep their company because I wanted the company. I wanted that female presence. Now, there was a turning point in my life that I knew that this can't continue and I have to stop. I knew it, but I kept it going. Okay. But I prayed and I asked God to help me. So what did I do? Okay. I don't like to be at home at night alone. So I started buying things in my home to entertain me, that I can stay home. Man, this was like I was like weaning off of heroin, because I remember staying in my bed And man, I was fighting. There was a fight, staying in my bed, and I couldn't sleep. And I'm twisting it and tossing. This went on for 6 months, man, because I wanted to go to somebody's house to spend the night in a woman's presence. And I remember twisting and turning. I went nights after nights after nights, forcing myself that I'm going to stay in my own house. And I did it. And that pattern and that cycle broke, man. It broke. So I know how hard it is to be a man to try to break that cycle, but it takes willpower, it takes determination, and it takes God's help.
Can I add something else? I love what you're saying. And Pastor Chris is saying 1 Kings 11:1, the woman Solomon was not supposed to be with will turn his heart. That's what messed him up. Wrong sex will do. It will mess your heart up way beyond the point of physical pleasure. Well said. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I will say this as well. You also have to have accountability, and you have to be honest with God. You can say, look,
yeah,
I enjoy this, but Lord, take this desire out of me.
Absolutely.
To the men that are out there, sometimes you need to block phone numbers and you don't need to give an apology or an explanation. Just ghost. Some people say ghosting is wrong. I disagree. In some situations, ghosting is necessary because you know you're weak in that area and you don't need to give an explanation to certain things. It's just like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. This is jacking up my spirit. This is jacking up my soul. And you said something earlier, Taylor, which was very, very important. When a man knows his purpose.
Yep.
Once you know what God has called you to do, I'm going to get super spiritual now. The enemy knows how to tempt you. And with many men, the temptation is the presence and the accolades of a gorgeous woman. And the toxic women know how to say the right things to get you snatched up. And a vision that's supposed to take, or a purpose that's supposed to take 3 years, ends up taking 30. So it's like, or it may not ever happen because you made the wrong choice with the wrong woman.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen out there, then the ladies out there that have sons, you know what? Let me say this. I want to talk about this because having a son myself, someone who's graduated and is going to college, and I know we got 6 minutes up, but I'm going to ask our producer because this is heavy. Can we add another 10 minutes, please? This is. I don't want to rush through this. Please. Thank you. Shout out to Alana. We're gonna go a little bit over because this, I feel the Spirit of God moving. I'm not saying I don't play around with this. We have made mistakes as men, and I ain't blaming the women necessarily. I made the choice to sleep with her. I made the choice to go to that bar or go to that place where I had no business being. I had the choice to go to that website. I had the choice to go do some things that I really had no business doing. Why? Because I was hurting, I was lonely, or whatever. And there's a man out there that is going through this problem. And we're talking to men specifically. Ladies, you can listen, but share this information with the man who's in your life, whether it's your son or your nephew or whatever. Speak in that camera, Taylor, about how to get free, and speak to that man to give him encouragement and let them know that your purpose is greater than the pleasure that you're feeling.
So, for those that's out there that's listening right now, I've been there. Gregory has been there. We've all been there. The difference is some people are still there And then there's those that have overcame and is still fighting to make sure that they don't go back. But it's a twofold to this conversation. We're talking about the physical, which is the self-will, and then also the spiritual. We haven't even dig deep into the spiritual sense of this, because it's a fight. Men are supposed to be the head. They're supposed to be the leaders, right? And so by you spread out with multiple women because of sexual drive or sexual desire for the women or the woman that is not even for you on your course, you have to have that self-will. Now, Gregory talked about accountability. And so maybe it's a friend, somebody that you look up to, maybe somebody professional, somebody that you don't even know because you don't really want them to know you, right? But you're comfortable talking to. But find somebody that can really be there to kind of help you, to hold you accountable, because sometimes we're weak and we just need that strength from that brother or that sister. It doesn't have to be a male, it could be a female. Secondly, you have to want to be different. You have to want to break that pattern. Maybe your father was like that. Your brothers are like that, right? And so, you just chalk it up. Well, I'm like that too. But you have to break this pattern, and you want to break this pattern, but it's a fight. And how do I do that? Then you have to be real with yourself and real with God. God, I need your help. Now, once you're real with God, God moves. I've seen him do it over and over and over. But you have to be honest and real. And once you have that self-determination to get the help, get the accountability, get the willpower, cut the phone. If you see a phone ringing at 2 o'clock in the morning, she might be the one calling you, right? You gotta be able to not answer the phone, disconnect the phone, change your phone number. Like I've went to a point where I changed all my phone numbers, so no one was able to get in contact with me, right? Because I know that sometimes you're on a journey, you're going about your business, I'm doing good, and then you get that phone call, and then you're back to square one again, and it starts all over. But you have to have that willpower. You have to have God in your life to say, God, please help me, and you have to have that accountability. So I just want to encourage each and every one of you that's out there, that's listening to me right now, that you can be a better person than who you are right now. You don't have to settle for that toxic woman that you don't know how to get yourself out of. Now, some people are in certain situation. Maybe you got properties together. Maybe you got a child together, and you're just trying to figure it out. But find somebody that you can be comfortable with sharing this information that can kind of assist you, right? And kind of guide you to where you need to be.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. That was powerful. And one of the things I love about this is just with everything you said is it's real, because there's people. One of the things on this platform, I don't want to do cookie cutter, nice flowery stuff, because there are people who are looking for motivation and looking for solutions and answers. And I got a lot of wrong information from men. And I don't think I would have made the mistakes that I made and been with the people that I was with if I had have gotten good accountability and guidance. Like, I lost my dad when I was 21, and I kind of had to figure out a lot of this manhood stuff on my own. My mother did the best she could, but she's not a man. So, she couldn't really help. I want to ask one final question before we sign off, because I feel impressed to ask this question. Now, I have a son. He just recently turned 18. He graduated high school. He's on his way to college. He has a girlfriend. I'm very proud of him. So far I've met his girlfriend a few times. She seems very nice. I don't know her family or anything like that, but I know I will eventually. I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm a little scared, Because every parent's fear, I think it's a natural fear that most parents are like, you do everything right. You raised them the best you could. I mean, I split up with her mother since he was like 3, but I've been in my son's life, and I believe I've done a good job as a father. But I pray that he doesn't get her or anyone, frankly, teenage pregnancies or breaking women's hearts or anything along those lines, and make the same dumb mistakes I made.
Yeah.
What can I do to mitigate that, and also speak to other fathers that are listening, or women who want male role models for their sons so they don't become a menace? And I'm confident Thaddeus won't be. I'm confident he's a good head on his shoulders, but anyone can make a mistake. So what type of advice could you give someone like myself or someone else who's listening?
Absolutely. So, I can relate to to what you're saying, because I have a son too, and so a few things that you could do. First of all, he has to be able to see it. Some people can receive words. Some people are visual. So you have to you have to know, like, who is your son, right? Are they a visual person, or are they a information person? So that's number one. Then you have to be the example. And that's a lot of things. A lot of people, they will shift the blame on their mistakes to say, well, my daddy was, a Rolling Stone, so I'm a Rolling Stone, or they kind of put the blame on the parent, right? So you have to show them what's right and what's wrong. You have to, and not only that, if you're in a relationship, like you're married, you would have to demonstrate how a woman should treat a man, which is you, the father, and how you should treat the woman, so he can see that, and he can see that love, and he can maybe say, I remember when dad was with this person, and it was a hot mess, but now he's with this young lady, and look how she treats him. So he can see the difference, the contrast, right? Secondly, prayer. Look, let me tell you something. I have prayed women out of my son's life.
Somebody else can relate. If you can relate to what this man just said, put that in the chat, please. Have you ever had to pray? Have you have to pray some booger away from your daughter, or you have to pray some ninja away from your daughter, or some Jezebel or some Delilah away from your son? Yeah. Put a 1 in the chat.
Absolutely. Look, I don't care, and my son understands. I don't care how much do you love her. One thing that I can say, right, is because I've been there, done that, and that's the thing, right? We're parents. We have been there, done that. We can see. I have to be the seer. It's just a faith term. The seer for my son. See, the thing is, if we go Christian or go biblical or go faith, right, some of the patterns that we have experienced will go to our siblings or our bloodline, our generation, our kids. So we have to break that, right? So we have to make sure that we are doing the right things to kind of turn the cycle, right? So that's number one. Number two, then I got to pray for my son that he doesn't encounter the same downfalls or roadblocks or pitfalls that I've experienced. But I tell my son straight up, you know what my son always say? Dad, I hate when you're right. Why would you hate that I'm right? You should love that I'm right. Every time I say something about a girl that he's with, there's some that I like, but I'm like, I'm trying to save you from so much drama, right? And it's not that I'm being overprotective, it's that I'm being prayerful. And now that I'm able to see certain things, God has given me a gift that I can tell my son, hey, look, there's something that she said that didn't sit right with me, and we'll have that conversation, right? And we'll work things through. And I think the last person that he was with, you know, I put her on the altar. I'm sorry. She had to go. She had to go. And guess what? They broken up 3 times. And I'm like, okay, the first time, you know, I always say, look, the first time, shame on you. The second time, shame on me. And then I have a personal saying. The third time, now you are Bobo the clown.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
You've been down this road 3 times, right? So like I said, you have to have a prayer life with God, because there's certain things, and you know, I'm not ashamed of saying this. There's certain things that the natural cannot do. It takes the supernatural, which is the power of God, to change certain situation. So when I see that there's danger coming to my son, especially through somebody that he's dating, she has to go. Period. Now my prayers, because I know some people be like, oh, you just praying. Me might be praying good people out of his life. Here's the thing, right? I always say, God, let your will be done. That's how I start my prayer. Because yeah, it might not be, maybe because I didn't like her, because I don't know, she dressed a certain way. I mean, I don't pray those prayers. I'm just using that as an example.
Right. It's not shallow stuff.
Not shallow.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I see that can be a major issue. And my son, me and him have an open dialogue. And this is another good thing. You have to have that open dialogue with your son. You cannot come off that you're strict, and your son can't come and share certain things with you.
Right.
So if they have a disagreement, my son let me know. He talks to me about it, right? And I guide him the best way. And if I feel that he's not being fair, I'm going to tell him, you're not being fair, right? And there was times where I would speak to both of them. They'll have me on speaker and we'll just have a conversation. So it's not like I'm just this guy that don't want the best for him. I want the absolute best for him. But if I see danger, I'm going to warn him, and I'm going to seal it with a prayer.
That's the best advice. And sometimes you said something. Sometimes you can't talk all the time.
No.
You have to just pray and just give it to God, because
Yeah.
the boy's gonna love that girl, and he can't see. Love is blind sometimes until you end up in a car wreck. And I think sometimes as parents, we have to be like the father of the prodigal son, because sometimes our children, and this is the hard part.
Yeah.
You have to be. When the prodigal son was in the pig pen and he came to himself and ran back to the father and was prepared to be a servant, did the father say, go back to the pig pen where you came from and give me back my money? No, he embraced them and welcomed them back.
Yeah.
We have to understand that our kids will make mistakes and bad judgment because they don't have the maturity. Don't turn them away, because God didn't turn us away.
Absolutely.
When we were out there. Hey, I don't know about you, but I should have been dead. I should have got HIV. I should have got a bullet in my head. There was places I was at that I had no business being at, that I should have been arrested, but it was for his grace and mercy, right? So since I've experienced that, I would need to extend that to my children. Yeah. So this was good. I could speak to you for another hour, but we're told to wrap up, so I have to wrap up. But let's put the book title on the screen again. Taylor made with his book that is very helpful for everyone. How do I attract toxic women? How can people get this book?
Why do I attract?
What did I say?
How do I attract?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That was the precursor. Yeah. Why do I attract toxic women? Blooper.
Hey, you
don't want to attract them. We want to tell them in the name of Jesus. Why do I attract toxic women? How do we get the book, sir?
Look, it's on Amazon. Just type it in. Just type it in the search. Why do I attract toxic women? And you'll see the book pop
Okay.
up.
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. And the name of your podcasts again, please?
Oh, so the two podcasts is Toxic Relationships, and the second one is God is Not Complicated. I know I had to think about it. God is Not Complicated, and they're just back to the basics, right? You know, sometimes you listen to podcasts and it's like, oh my goodness, like all these steps and stuff. These are just practical, everyday situations that people face, and it's just back to the basic on how to achieve a successful way of living, where it comes to God is Not Complicated, and how to navigate through some of those difficult, toxic relationships that some of us are currently in, and how do we navigate our way out.
Awesome. And how do we get those podcasts?
So the podcast is on Apple, Spotify, it's on Google Cast, and it's on iHeartRadio, a matter of fact. So you could just search for God is Not Complicated, and you'll see my face on there. And for the Toxic Relationship, it's on Apple, Spotify, and also iHeartRadio too. I'm in a yellow blazer. You'll just see half my face.
It's bright yellow too.
And it's bright yellow.
You can't miss them. You can tell in your yard, man, because they wear bright colors. Anyway, but yes, thank you so much, Taylor, for stopping by in the Motivation Round. We're going to see you again, actually, because I don't have the flyer yet, but it's coming on June the 22nd. We're going to be having a men's panel, and Taylor will be one of the panelists on the men's panel. So you want to circle in June the 22nd. We're going to have a really great conversation. More details will be released later on. We are going to sign off for the evening. Please, if you support me, support him. You can support him through going to Amazon, purchasing his book. You can also go to anywhere where you digest your podcast to get episodes of Toxic Relationships and God is Not Complicated. And also Motivation Moments is on Spotify as well. You can go and check out previous episodes of this podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and also don't forget to donate to this podcast at PayPal, BloomfieldTing@gmail, or Cash App, Bloomfield Ting, or pick up some merch. Pick up a book as well. We have multiple ways to support this ministry. The merch you can get it from sisterpamelapublishing.com. Books, sweatshirts, mugs, t-shirts. We got women's tees too. See the white one with the V-neck? Those look better in a blazer with some heels. That's what my wife says, some heels and some jeans. You'll look splendid. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next Sunday, Thursday. We're gonna have a repeat episode, but next Sunday we're gonna have a brand new interview. And remember to circle June 22nd for the men's panel. Until next time, thank you, Taylor, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. And thank you to everyone for watching. My name is Gregory Bloomfield. This is Taylor Made Speaks. Be encouraged, be inspired, and be motivated. God bless. Have a blessed week.
Hey, listen, if you in your car, if you with your family, if you in the backyard having a cookout, I need you to turn this all the way up because it's about to go live. Woo!